YCS Sydney has come to an end, and what I have in front of you is the winning deck list. What's going on, you guys? Slim here to talk about why 53 card Scrap Orcust won the first YCS of 2020. It's pretty crazy. Definitely, we all had a feeling this deck would win, but I don't think anyone thought that a 53 card variant would win. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell so you guys will be notified when I upload. If you guys are familiar with the series, we always talk about the winning deck from every event, and we go over the deck list in depth, as well as the reasons why I personally feel the deck won. And of course, you guys continue the conversation in the comments section below. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that it's already the first YCS of the new year, and of course Orcust had to win it. Shout out to Ganje. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. The live deck profile will be down below for any information you guys want to get. Unfortunately, the coverage at YCS Sydney was non-existent, so I don't really have as much information as I wanted, but I was able to get the main deck list. And again, if you watch the live deck profile, you'll get a lot more analysis from the player himself as to why he played this variant. There are a couple things that we'll note, especially when it comes to the amount of cards he played, because it is pretty crazy. Most Orcust variants have been 41 cards at the max. We haven't really seen this variant of the deck go up beyond 40, but clearly it worked for him. So yeah, we'll get into it real quick. So of course, we've got the one Armageddon Knight and the one Dark Grepher. Those are your main starters. You draw them, you get to Rhoda, you see it, you just get everything rolling. It's crazy. He chose to play 3 Gizmek. So in the live deck profile, he talks about how important this card was. One of the main strategies he was using Gizmek in tandem with Zeraboros, because you guys already know, summon this, bring a Gizmek up, you banish 8, wipe your opponent's whole board, it comes back during your next turn, you basically just OTK your opponent. So it's pretty crazy. This card was actually insane. 3 copies of Nibiru. It's the only hand trap he main decked. And yeah, this card, it just answers Salamangreat. Apparently in Sydney, there's a lot of Salamangreat. It's just good against players who overextend. A lot of players don't expect to see it coming because the card has gone in and out of main decks, and rarely is it seen even in some side decks. So main decking it was a really good call. It's kind of similar to how the Sky Striker True Draco deck played Nibiru in the main deck, and it just throws everyone off. Being able to wipe their whole board, give them a token, and then just get over their board for free is insane. Orcust monsters are very standard: the 2 Skeleton, the 3 Harpoor, the 3 Orcust Nightmare, and then we get to the Scrap Engine. So the Scrap Engine is pretty nice. He does play the 1 Golem, which is unfortunately the brick in the deck, but with 53 cards, it pretty much offsets that. That's one of the main reasons why there's so many cards in this deck, is you want to offset your ability, to brick. And this is honestly the only brick in the deck. It's pretty crazy, but being able to resolve the Scrap combo with Scrap Wyvern is insane, and it requires this card. The best card in the deck was clearly Scrap Recycler. This card just does everything for you, so that in tandem with the Scrap Golem and just the Scrap cards in general, just really strong for the deck. And then the last 2 monsters are, of course, 2 copies of World Wand. So I know a lot of people are going to question this. There's been memes going around, jokes going around about why on earth would you ever play 2 World Wand. If you guys notice, he is playing Triple Pot of Desires, which is something we don't really see in Orcust decks, so you want the ability to not banish, your 1 copy of World Wand and then not be able to play. It's the same reason why you play 2 Skeleton. He also played 3 Gizmek in tandem with that, because, you want to have Gizmek, you want to have access to these cards. I'm a little surprised, that you do run the chance, of not drawing the Golem or banishing it with Desires, but you're still able to play without it. So even though it is a brick drawing it itself, you banish it off Desires, you can still play. So that's pretty crazy. Then just onto the spells. A lot of draw cards you guys can see, of course, for 53 cards. There's 2 copies of Allure of Darkness, the 3 copies of Called by the Grave, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. This card is really good in the mirror match, being able to catch the Babbles, because the name of the game these days is why the card has gone up in popularity. The 1 copy of Foolish Burial, the triple copies of Into the Void for more turbo cards and spells for Engage, the 1 Reborn, the 1 Babel, the triple Orchestrator Return, the just insane D-draw, and then Triple Pot of Desires. He's literally just trying to draw into his cards, put as many spells in the graveyard as possible, resolve Engage, and just win. It's insane. And he actually played Reasoning, so I've only seen this in a few lists, and I really like it. He talked about how he resolved it in one of his games, and the opponent called 3, and he just milled, a bunch of cards. You set your spells up for Engage, you set your Orcust cards in the grave, you get your Gizmek to the grave, and then you're just able to play and then OTK your opponent. So this card's really nice. Also can bait Ash if it happens. The 1 copy of Rhoda, and then on the Sky Striker cards, we got the 1 Afterburners, the 1 Hornet Drones, the 2 copies of Shark Cannon, the 1 Widow Anchor, and of course, the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh!, 3 copies of Engage. And then the 1 Upstart. I know 53 cards with Upstart, but it doesn't matter. You're playing an Engage deck. You need more spells. This card is just a free spell. And then the 1 Trap is the Orcish Crescendo. Side deck, he decided to side deck Triple Phantasme. Just really good against Salamangreat, really good against Pure Striker, good against any deck that just summons links, and then just being able to sculpt your hand is super important. 2 copies of Dark Ruler No More. Pendulum's actually made top 4 at this event, so this was a good call to have in the side deck. It's also good against the Thunder combo deck or just the Wombo combo decks in general. Being able to just blanket turn off their board is important. 3 copies of System Down, the God card against Orcust. Bait out their negates, System Down him, the game's over. It's insane. Seen it so many times. Like this card has definitely gone up in popularity as one of the most side deck cards this format. It's even taking the place of Lancia because you want a blowout card, and if Lancia only stops them for a turn and then you can't make a counter push, like, they're gonna just play again next turn. So this card basically just guarantees that they don't play again. 3 copies of Twin Twister, 2 copies of Eradicator, and 2 copies of Red Reboot to round out the side deck. And as you guys can see, that's a lot of back row hate. This card is really insane. Just being able to resolve it, you just blow out a trap deck, you blow out a spell deck. You can do it in the mirror match, just wipe out all their spells, and you just win. So this card's really nice. Then on to the extra deck. It's pretty standard. The 2 copies of Dingirsu, 1 copy of Appaloosa, the 1 copy of Barricade Board Blocker. Again, in the live deck profile, he talks about how important this card was. He actually played this over the 3rd Galatea, which you guys will notice he's only playing 2 copies of. This card is really important because you need to be able to discard cards, and that does come up a lot to start your Orcust engine, so it's really important. The 1 Boral Sword for OTKs, 2 copies of Galatea, as already mentioned, the 1 copy of IP, this card's nuts, the 2 Nightmares, Phoenix and Unicorn, the 1 Long Girsu, the 1 Scrap Wyvern because it goes with the combo. This card is really, really nice. So the 1 copy of Kagari for the Sky Strikers, and then the 2 Topologics in Bomber Dragon and Zeraboros. And again, he talked about how much he utilized Zeraboros. This card is actually really insane. Just being able to just banish your opponent's entire board, and then this card comes back next turn, and it comes back at infinite because of all the cards you banish in this deck with like Desires and Gizmek, that you just come back and you just win right there. So it's pretty crazy. So that was it for the main deck, the side of the deck, and the extra deck. So my personal reasons as to why I think this deck won is, first and foremost, it's Orcust. There's no way around it. It's still Orcust. Orcust is still going to be insane. Our ban list could drop any day, so we could see it could be today, it could be the next day. We will see it when we see it. We'll see if the deck will still be dealt with. As you guys already know, there's already more support coming for the deck, so it'll be hard to say how hard they're actually going to hit the deck. But I think overall, Orcust has already proven itself to be one of the most insane decks in the last couple of years in Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's definitely one of the main reasons, is because it is Orcust and is very good at what it does. I think another reason that this deck did so well is its turbo cards. So turbo cards are really insane. The Allures, the Into the Voids, the Orchestrator Returns, the Engages, the Desires. There's so many cards that let you see your deck, that let you get to your engine cards, that let you just overwhelm and out advantage your opponent. And once the tempo of the game is in your favor, you're going to win. And I feel that that's how this deck was constructed. As you guys may think, okay, it's 53 cards, why didn't he just play 40? Well, you guys can see where he's trying to offset the banishes off Gizmek, the banishes off Desires, to where you don't, break, or you don't banish key cards, and it still works. It's still fueling Engage. It's still fueling Zeraboros for win condition. It's kind of crazy how much of this card can be a win condition by itself. And I think that, again, if you guys watch the live deck profile, if you guys, if they would have done coverage, we could have seen it in matches too. But yeah, Zeraboros just gets huge, and then you just OTK them. Half the time you don't even have to make Boral Sword, so it's pretty crazy. And I would say another reason this deck won is because the Striker engine. Like, I can't sit here and say, based off the last 2 events, Sky Striker, Orcust winning them both, Engage and this whole engine is a hell of an engine, and Engage is like the best card in the game. Free draws, free pluses, just not once per turn. You just keep getting so much advantage that this deck just really can out-resource the opponent so fast, and I think that's some of the main reasons why this deck won. And yeah, overall, I think it's crazy. It's the first YCS of the year, and I expect to see a lot. There'll be a ban list dropping soon, like I already said, so we'll see if this deck is still playable. Everyone talks about banning this card. Hopefully it does happen. If not, Orcust will still be around, and we'll see what they do. I really don't know what they'll have planned, but if it were up to me, you guys already know I would ban Babel, but we'll see what they end up doing when the list finally drops. But yeah, overall, those are my thoughts. Again, shout out to Corey for winning the YCS. Let me know your guys' thoughts, what you guys think about the deck list in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you make changes? I'm sure there's a lot of you that would prefer to play 40, but again, understand the reasoning as to why he chose to play 53. And it is kind of an offset number, but when it works, it works. 53 is also, this is a little known fact that I learned from watching the deck profile, 53 apparently is a YCS winning deck number. 41 has won multiple YCSs, and 53 has won multiple YCSs now. So that's your little fun fact for the day. But yeah, overall, these are my thoughts. If you guys actually want to build this deck, card for card, test it out for, you know, before the ban list or any events, because we don't know what's going to happen. Feel free to use my TCG player link. It's in the description below. A portion of what you spend will go back to the channel. It helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. But yeah, first YCS is in the bag. We got the next YCS, I believe, is going to be our YCS in Las Vegas for the team YCS. So it's going to be really exciting. We'll be playing under a new format, and I know everyone who's going is super excited. So yeah, overall, good start to the new year. I think a lot of things will have to change. I think this will be a reason for them to, you know, touch cards like this, and hopefully we'll see some positive changes and some more decks when the new ban list rolls out and when the new season continues. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time.